all want to get back to playing volleyball, but we aren't going to do anything until it's safe to do so. And that's not determined by us as a region. That's determined by local authorities, state authorities, and in some cases, the national authorities.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Adam Ellis, Club Director at NPJ, and today I'm very fortunate to be joined with the Executive Director of the Columbia Empire Volleyball Association region, Cody March. Cody, thank you very much for taking the time to join us today, buddy.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Excited to ask some questions and to pick your brain a little bit. Hey, let's start off with you just telling us a little bit about your staff and giving us a brief description on each of their responsibilities and your responsibilities at CEVA.
Sure. I'm really lucky because we have a fantastic staff. I'll start with my office staff. Alex Montoya is our Director of Membership Services. She's our frontline customer service person. She answers questions of all sorts when people communicate with our office, and that's on email, phone, social media, any sort of communication that comes into our office. Alex handles that. She handles our website, our social media, and oversees our CEVA Athlete Advisory Council. She's also been taking on a much larger role in our programming because that's what she's asked to do. So I think that's really important. And then Matt Fisher is our Director of Operations. He just finished up his first year with us. He plays a huge role in scheduling and logistics of Power League, President's Day, regionals, which are all massive undertakings. Those are mostly on his desk. So he's been great with that. We also have 3 supervisory officials that we have in our region: Marcia Costley, Paula Martin, Aaron Eaton. Those are all 3 great people to work with, and they've done a great job with our officials division. Marcia is our officials chair, Aaron is our assistant officials assigner, and Paula is our scores chair. So Marcia and Aaron do a lot of the assigning for club-hosted tournaments, for Power League, regionals, those types of events. And then Paula and Marcia both have responsibilities as liaisons from our region to USA Volleyball. And then as for me, I handle the administrative side of things, such as our budgeting, our finances, but I also help with logistics where I can with Power League, President's Day, regionals. The most important thing that I do on an everyday basis is I surround myself with good people, and we've been really lucky so far.
Definitely. I can tell just from our perspective, it's great when we have a question or we need some information and we reach out to the office. We always hear back so quickly, and can't tell you how much.
Yeah, and we take pride in that. That's something that is really important to us because our first priority in any case is customer service. That's what sets us apart from our competition. Is we're going to offer superior customer service every day.
Definitely. Yeah, I can tell you that at least from our perspective, you guys go above and beyond in that area. So we all appreciate that. Hey, moving on a little bit, tell us about, you're on the USA Volleyball committees. Is there any information or updates you can share with us regarding, the coronavirus and the pandemic we have and any, upcoming tournaments at the national?
Sure. Yeah. So obviously, USAV's value system tells you that the first priority is always going to be safety, and we fall in line with that. We all want to get back to playing volleyball, but we aren't going to do anything until it's safe to do so. And that's not determined by us as a region. That's determined by local authorities, state authorities, and in some cases, the national authorities. So obviously, we all want to get back in there. We all want to get back to playing, but the decision is being made by people in a higher authority than us. So we have to pay attention to that. We obviously, the next thing for us is outdoor programming this summer. We're very hopeful that that's going to happen. And I can tell you that right now we're planning as a region on a full 2021 season. Regarding the upcoming national tournaments that you asked about, USAV is obviously going to push really hard to make those happen. They want kids to get back into the gym and play. So they're still going to heed the guidances of local authorities, state authorities in the locations that those tournaments are being held, but they want to get back in there and play just like we all do. You mentioned the committee that I'm on. So I'm on a ad hoc COVID-19 response committee, and that consists of 11 regional commissioners from throughout the United States, including myself. We've had some great discussions. we've gathered a lot of data from regions and clubs regarding their stability. And I was really heartened with the fact that a lot of clubs that we've talked to and a lot of people that we've gathered data from have all said, we're ready to come back next year, if not this year. You're seeing very, very little instance of clubs saying, yeah, we're done. We're not coming back. This is it for us. A lot of them are going to be okay. A lot of them are going to bounce back through this. And so that was really satisfying for us to hear. And then the other thing that we're working on is a fundraiser program and a grant program that will be available to clubs throughout the United States who might be experiencing some hardships, as a way for them to reach out to this potential fundraiser grant committee for some additional assistance if needed. And we're hoping that that comes together. We're working on the details of that right now.
Cody, thanks for all your time and energy and all the efforts you're putting forth with those committees. I can't tell you how much our region and our members really appreciate that. What are you and your team working on during this time? And is there anything you can share with us? Any exciting changes for the 2021 season?
Yeah, so this time we miss regionals because we should be in the full throes of our regional championships right now, but obviously we're not. This has been a great opportunity for our staff to really examine our organization from top to bottom and figure out ways where we can get more efficient and just generally improve our programming. One of our mottos as a staff is constant improvement. So we're working on a number of changes for next year that will help us stay relevant both locally and nationally. Not everything's finalized yet, so I can't get too detailed because I don't want to announce something or say something that doesn't end up happening. But just in general, we're looking for ways to expand our playing opportunities first and foremost. We've reached a point as a region where our growth has outpaced our event offerings. So we need to find a way to provide more opportunities for people to play. That's a good problem to have, but it's one that we have to address. We're looking at different ways for coaches to be educated, for coaches to get better. We're looking at ways to help coaches attend CAP clinics through USA Volleyball or attend the ABCA convention and the Final Four. Those are huge networking opportunities that coaches need to take advantage of. We're looking at more mentorship and professional development opportunities for our club directors, our officials, our coaches, and even our staff, our 3 office staff. One of my big principles as a leader is professional development. And when we have a chance to learn from others, talk to others, network with people, and we can bring that stuff back to our region, that makes us better as a region and as a business and as an organization. So that's really important for us to keep looking into. And then I would say the last thing that we're looking at is continuously looking for ways to make sure that smaller clubs and underrepresented communities are being served by our organization. We are working on a partnership with an organization that will help us with that, and we're going to hopefully announce that later this summer. And then we've also made already a number of structural changes to our organization to ensure that our small clubs, our smaller clubs, and our underserved communities have a little bit more of a voice in our decision-making processes. So those are all things that we're really working hard on this summer and even this spring, now that we have a little bit more time on our hands.
Hey, just off the top of your head, can you give us the stats of the representation that a small club represents in our region as opposed to what you would consider a larger club?
Yeah, so just as an example, one that I can think of off the top of my head, if you look at our Power League from last year, we had 80 plus clubs sign up for Power League. Almost half of those were clubs with 5 teams or less in their club playing Power League. And about 19 or 20 of those clubs had 1 team. So that means a quarter or so of our Power League population were clubs with just 1 team. So what that tells me is that we have obviously some big clubs like NPJ that make up a large chunk of our membership. And that's great. We need to service them also. But we have to be conscious of the fact that our region is not just big clubs. Our region is not just the populous centers of Portland, Vancouver, Salem, Eugene. our region is the entire state of Oregon and Southwest Washington, and we need to make sure that those coaches and players in those rural and isolated communities are getting the same opportunities to play that the people in the population centers of our region are getting.
Love that. Thank you for expanding a little bit more on that. Hey, what can you share, or do you have any details about when the 2021 schedule will be released? And are there any significant changes that might be happening to that schedule?
Sure. Right now, we are planning on rolling out our preseason dates in the next couple weeks. That's going to be all of our registration dates, our sign-up dates, and our activation dates. And then we expect to release a full 21 schedule either late May or early June. There's still a couple conversations that need to be had with the Junior Girls Committee before we can fully release that. But we're excited to release that because for us, we're planning on running a season in 2021. And for us, releasing that schedule is a benchmark. And that's a little bit of a representation of normalcy. Obviously, we're not normal right now. We're not going to ever be in that same place that normal was. But this is just one benchmark that we want to hit to help people look forward to something. In terms of significant changes to the schedule, I think what you're going to see in the playing schedule is very similar to what you've seen in the past. I think the biggest change you're going to see from us as a staff is just more transparency. I think one of the things that we can do better as a staff is to just keep the lines of communication more open with our club directors so that they're more aware of what's needed for registration, when deadlines are, and just making sure that they have all the information that they need to make sure that their student athletes are getting all the opportunities to play that they can.
And I'm excited to see how you guys are going to improve upon, connecting with club directors, because I know, at least from our end, you guys do such a good job, and Alex does an amazing job of communicating with club directors when registrations are due, when registrations are going to open. There's multiple emails and communications that are sent out. So any way to improve upon that, I'm really excited to see, because I already feel like you guys do such a good job with that.
Yep, and Alex does do a great job with that, but there's always room to improve. So we're always going to look for ways to just make it smoother, make it easier for clubs, and just get that information out there sooner and as fast as we can.
So this will kind of roll over to our next question then. Regarding CEVA memberships, there have been a lot of talk about some potential changes. Can you talk to us about what you guys have been working on, and if there may in fact be some changes with regards to Sports Engine and memberships?
Sure. Yeah, the biggest change on the membership side is going to be the introduction of a new membership management system, also called an MMS. Okay. Webpoint is going away. It's going to go away on September 1st of 2020. And the new system, like you said, is going to be through Sports Engine. So it's going to be a completely different system. And it's one that's going to be a transition. It's going to take some getting used to for everybody, our staff included. But the end result of that transition is going to be a much more streamlined process for memberships as well as club management. And that's the thing that we're probably most excited about, is that it's going to be easier for club directors once they get the hang of this system to manage their clubs and manage their rosters. From an administrative standpoint, from an office standpoint, it means that we're going to be able to see issues faster and address those in a timely manner. The biggest thing that you're going to see from a membership side, from an individual membership side, is the fact that while every member has to have a separate account, one of the big benefits of Sports Engine is that they can do family accounts, meaning that if a family has multiple players in their family playing for even different clubs, it can all be under one login, one email address, one set of credentials. So that's going to be smoother on the end user side. From a club director standpoint, one of the big benefits of Sports Engine is that it's already integrated with AES. And as we know, AES is a massive tournament software program that's used by most USAV tournaments. What they are doing is they're working on technology to make it so the data import of rosters is a thing of the past. They're making it so you can build a roster in Sports Engine and then it automatically updates in AES. And I know for a lot of our clubs, that's been a huge pain point because they need to make sure that those two rosters sync up. And right now, you have to build two separate rosters. going forward, the thought is you won't have to do that. You're only going to have to build a roster once, and it updates on both sides. So those are all exciting things that we're working on and working with USAV on.
Thanks for all your hard work with that. Hey, what are you and your staff doing to stay connected during this time? And how have you been in communication with any of the officials? How are they handling this time?
Yeah, I'll take the staff part of that question first.
Okay.
Staying connected as a staff is not hard for us because not only do I work with two really good people who are hard workers, but they're also two of my closest friends. So communication between us is never a problem. We do have virtual staff meetings 3 times a week. We have another one this afternoon, but we're in constant communication all the time, emails, text messages, and it's very open and honest communication. That's part of the benefit that I have here of working with two people that I really like and really respect. And it's been refreshing to be able to communicate with my staff on that level because it means that we're all going to be more productive, and it means that we can all push each other to get a little bit better. As for our officials, we did something fun last night. We actually had a virtual happy hour on Zoom for all of our officials, and we had about 25 come in. That was a lot of fun. It was just open and free talk, communication, just catching up with people. What are you doing? How are you handling things? How's your family? We're going to look and do probably 1 or 2 more of those in the next few weeks because that was a really fun thing to do.
Oh, that's great. That's a great way to keep everyone connected. Hey, so what is your favorite part about being the executive director for CEVA?
That's tough. But I think if I had to narrow it down, I think there's probably 2 favorite parts for me. The first is just the people that I get to meet and interact with on a daily basis. Club directors, coaches, officials, tournament directors, you name it. Going to tournaments and just having open conversations with people is really a highlight for me. And those conversations don't have to be about volleyball. It can just be like, again, hey, how's your family? How are you liking your new job? Whatever it may be. Just developing relationships with people, I think that's a huge piece for me in this position that's really been beneficial. And then I think the second favorite thing for me is working with my staff to put a stamp on this region. My staff is really creative, and they're always pushing me to try and do things a little differently. One of the things that, for example, Matt Fisher brings to the table is that he didn't have a volleyball background before he came to this job. He was a logistics person. So he brings a completely different perspective to things and a whole new different way of looking at things that's been hugely valuable. So it's collaboration between us, our board, our committees, and looking at running a region a little differently, looking at putting our own stamp on things and doing things in our own way and taking our own approach to things, because that's something that we believe as we get better and better, our membership is going to see a benefit down the road.
Makes a lot of sense. We can't tell you how much we appreciate all the time and effort and energy that you and your staff put in. And kind of going off of that, is there anything you would like the membership to know about either CEVA, your staff, or yourself that they might not know?
Yeah, I think if there's anything to know about our staff, it's that we're all very dedicated to what we're doing, and we're all very dedicated to making the experience the best we can make it. We're not always going to make everybody happy, we know that, but we are extremely dedicated and hardworking staff. And that's not something that always gets noticed, because what a lot of people see is just the end result. They see the events, the tournaments, those sorts of things, but there's so much hard work and energy that goes into that makes those events successful, that I just want to make sure that the membership understands how much work my staff puts into what they see on the weekends or what they see at that big tournament. And I think if there's one thing that people need to know maybe about me specifically, is that I consider myself to be pretty darn lucky. I didn't grow up in volleyball. I've never played competitive volleyball in my life. You don't want me anywhere near a court. But volleyball has given me so much, so many opportunities and so many benefits in life. My experiences in volleyball and athletics have gotten me to where I'm at. And I know how lucky that I am to be here. And I also know how lucky I am to have the staff that I do, the administrative support that I do. And I'm lucky to have people around me that make my job enjoyable. So I think the biggest takeaway from a personal standpoint for me is just that I'm really lucky to be surrounded by a great staff, great people, and to be in a great environment.
Is there anything that, you know, the office or the region does that you want to share that maybe our membership doesn't know about? Is there anything you can think of, you know, that's like, oh, I didn't know CEVA did that?
One of the things, I think one of the things that we really want to make sure that people are aware of, and one of the things that we are moving more toward is being a more philanthropic organization. As an example, we this last year gave out or distributed almost $29,000 in financial aid to student athletes in this region who are in need. That helps directly go towards student athletes club dues. That's a huge piece of what we do. This past fall, we partnered with the Corvallis Sister Cities Association to send sporting equipment over to school children in Gondar, Ethiopia. This past holiday season, Alex organized a community warehouse drive whereby people donated housewares, blankets, anything that they didn't need that was still usable to an organization called Community Warehouse. And that all went to people in need right around the holidays, people who needed that for their homes. Those are things that I think a lot of people don't realize that we do. We're trying to be more philanthropic. We have a platform with CEVA, and we want to use it for good. We want to benefit not only the volleyball community, but we want to benefit the community as a whole. And I think that's something that we need to take advantage of. It's just the platform that we have, and we're going to continue to try and do that.
Definitely, that makes a lot of sense, and really appreciate hearing that. Cody, I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to speak with us. Thank you and your staff for all you do to lead our region and in such a positive and great way. So thank you again for taking the time with us today.
Yeah, appreciate you having me. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, Cody. Have a great day.